Welcome to the Wellness Pulse with Monica Stevens. From CPR to self-care, staying in rhythm with your well-being. Thanks for tuning in. All right, good day. I've got Jonathan Epstein of the American Red Cross here to talk about the neonatal program, correct?
Fantastic. I'd love to talk about our ALS program for the American Red Cross. So again, Jonathan Epstein, I lead our healthcare product management team. Earlier this year, we launched our neonatal advanced life support program to really solve a couple problems in the United States today. So when we think about newborns and newborn resuscitation, there's a crisis in the country called maternity care deserts, where 35% of our counties have no maternity care services available to them, which means that we have an increase of out-of-hospital births at about 22% per year over year. And this is based on the March of Dimes statistics. So we know more babies are being born in critical access emergency departments, in hospitals that don't have OB capabilities, and certainly by ambulances, by EMTs and paramedics in the street. So we built a neonatal advanced life support program to really help clinicians both in the neonatal intensive care unit, all the way down through the emergency departments and out into the EMS environments to care for these critical newborns. Traditional training has been restricted for many, many years, and really not a lot of access to the education itself, because it's such a finite number of people that can provide the education. So by creating another solution into the market that's evidence-based, meets the same scientific standards as the program that's existed for many, many years, we've been able to expand the neonatal course so that more people have access to the program and actually help improve outcomes for those newborns itself.
Wow, that is wonderful. Okay, and so when did you launch this program?
So the program itself launched in January of 2025. So it's joined the American Red Cross Resuscitation suite of programs. So we have our basic life support, our advanced life support, our pediatric advanced life support, and now our neonatal advanced life support program. So under one solution for the American Red Cross, our clinicians, both in hospital and out of hospital, can have really an entire suite of programs that are consistent and work together well and really well coordinated as an option.
Awesome. I don't know if you can speak on this, but are you able to maybe, for those of us who maybe use some AHA products, maybe tell the difference between ALS and ACLS?
Yeah, sure. When we think of ACLS and ALS, and I've taught both programs, and I'm very familiar with all the programs, certainly as a paramedic and as a healthcare educator. Really, when you think of ACLS historically, advanced cardiac life support, it's not cardiac anymore. You think we now have, in the Red Cross programs, we have topics on stroke and sepsis. So that's not cardiac related. So we actually just removed the C to give it a broader expanse of really what we consider an advanced life support program should be. So it's not just about the cardiac. And you think about pediatric advanced life support, about respiratory, ventilation, shock, as well as that cardiopulmonary perspective. That's why we kind of took that C off the name, to give it a more broader sense of what's actually in the program itself.
Awesome, that is really amazing.
And then I think the other thing, Monica, when we talk about ALS and BLS and PALS, and you talk about American Heart Association programs versus Red Cross programs, the science is the same. So from a base of the science, we do an intentional job of ensuring that there's consistency in the algorithms, or what we call code cards, that if you're trained by AHA and I'm trained by Red Cross, if we're at the patient side together, we're going to do the same things. So from a science perspective, it's evidence-based, it's based on ILCOR, and the International Federation of Red Cross Red Crescent Societies is a collaborating member of ILCOR. So we have representation at the ILCOR along with AHA and Heart and Stroke in Canada and other organizations around the world. We're making sure that it's the same scientific basis, same recommendations, but I think we look at how we deliver that content a little differently. We look at that content educationally to make it easier to consume, to make it stickier, to make it more engaging and more enjoyable for the learner. And then we have a real ethos or new kind of mantra in the Red Cross. We want to make sure we're bridging practice and education together. And so we call it practice as you perform. So what that means is we don't want you to train twice, we want you to train once. So instead of taking your BLS CPR class or your ALS class, so I checked my box, I got certified, great, I met a requirement. Now my employer says, yeah, but forget all that. I want you to use my local protocols over here. That's double the training. So we've actually created an integration pathway to take the local protocol with medical director oversight or chief medical officer or regulatory oversight to incorporate into our scenario-based part of the course your local protocol. So if you're using some mechanical CPR device as an example in your day-to-day practice, when we're doing scenarios, we want you to incorporate that the mechanical CPR device into the program, because your training should mimic what you're going to do every day. And we think bridging that gap is so critical. So this practice you perform is really this new concept that we've been working through and have allowed for years, but now we're really giving great guidance to instructors around that concept to make sure we do a true integration. Don't train twice, just train once. So that flexibility is so important. And I think the other piece that we really put into the new programs and curriculums is this recognition that we can't remember everything. These are high-stress situations, and we need to use cognitive aids. So a cognitive aids could be a pocket guide, it could be a reference handbook, it could be a code card, an algorithm, or a mobile application. So with our new programs that launch in February, we're launching a healthcare suite mobile application that includes all, at your fingertips, all the code cards, all the reference material, but also decision-making assistance in cardiac arrest, where you can document and run an entire arrest situation for an adult, a child, and a neonate, all in one application. But once you complete that process, you can actually download the information, you can append it to a patient record if you had to. So it's really, but it's giving you guidance. It's telling you, oh, hey, it's been 2 minutes. It's time to check that rhythm again. What's the rhythm? We need to defibrillate, unlock, epi's next, get ready to give epinephrine. So it's really walking them through the stages, but also documents everything along the way. So it's a really powerful tool. We don't want people to just try and remember it. I'm a paramedic for a long time. When I went to paramedic school, if you couldn't memorize your algorithms and you failed ACLS, you got kicked out of paramedic school. That shouldn't happen today. It should be use your cognitive aids, use them in the testing, use them in the classroom, practice the way you work every day.
Wonderful. And finally, it may go without saying, but why does the American Red Cross feel that it's important to be at the Cardiac Arrest Survival Summit this year?
I don't know if it's about this year, Monica, or I think it's every year.
Yes.
I think this is such an important location or venue to bring people together that are really focused on the mission of saving lives, improving outcomes. One, recognizing there are survivors. So again, this event is about people who have survived, those people that have cared for them. While I may be a paramedic, ultimately my role at the Red Cross is to prepare clinicians and providers to better care for people to improve those outcomes. I'm not saving the lives, but the physicians, the nurses, the paramedics, the PAs, the NPs, all those folks that are here to learn together and kind of understand things together. We're trying to improve the ability for people to go out and save lives. So that could be a lay responder using hands-only CPR, and that could be, again, an emergency physician or a paramedic or a flight nurse all coming together. So this is such a great venue that the great minds and organizations are all together talking about the same thing and kind of put my brand against your brand away and really say, what are we here for? And we're here to save lives. So I think that's why we come and why Red Cross supports this organization as a diamond sponsor this year. It's really important that we keep the message alive. And I've been coming to this conference for over 20 years, and to see that its growth it's been magical.
Thanks again for listening. If you or anyone you know needs to learn CPR, first aid, or a life-saving skill, please contact People's Choice CPR and Safety. From CPR to self-care, the Wellness Pulse is staying in rhythm with your well-being. I'm Monica Stevens. Take care.